Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Los Angeles. Marshall Cyclist in the booth with Randy Bueller, Fabrizio, and Terry. You see him with his version of Jeskai wins. And Gary Wong, we have it listed as Jeskai combo, which is, I guess, technically true, but it also just looks like a token Jeskai.
Yeah, I would have called it
Ascendancy
Jeskai
deck.
tokens.
Yeah.
It's an Ascendancy tokens deck, which has sort of a combo backup plan.
Yeah, we haven't seen this deck on camera yet.
No, I still don't entirely understand all the loops that it can do.
Yeah, and in the fresh new standard format, you'll see decks like this that kind of hit from a different angle until we actually get to see them in action or play with them ourselves. It's a bit of a mystery, so we'll see how this deck goes. It's got Dakra Mystic, but it's also got a bunch of the normal token makers, and there's Dakra Mystic, and we have a reader.
Fabrizio and Terry doing the same thing we did. What?
Yeah, wait.
Dakra Mystic?
You're playing that? So Dakra Mystic says, all right, we're just going to get a picture of it for you on the screen. It's a 1/1 for 1, so...
Oh, this is his kill card if he combos off, isn't it? Dakra Mystic is reveal the top card of each player's library. And
Yes.
they put the revealed cards into their owner's graveyards. So essentially with Jeskai, if I go off with Jeskai's Ascendancy, I can put your entire library into your graveyard. Now, it does cost a blue mana to do this.
So you need infinite mana to go with it. Whoa, there's
There you
Dakra
go.
Mystic.
It does cost a blue mana to do this, so it's not as efficient as the 1-mana artifact that was in the pure combo lists. But it gives Gary Wong this ability to just attack the fairway, the quote-unquote intended fairway.
Yeah, he has 4 Raise the Alarm, 4 Hordling Outbursts. He's got a Goblin Rabblemaster as well. And he's also got Lightning Strike, Jeskai Charm, and Stoke the Flame. So he can also, and those all work well. All of the tokens work really well with Ascendancy. I mean, you only need to trigger it once or twice, and you've got 6, maybe 9 power off of just a Hordling Outburst. So
yeah, I'd be curious to find out from Gary how many of his matches he's won by attacking with souped up tokens and how many of his matches he's actually managed to combo off.
yeah, but maybe after the match we can ask him real quick. We obviously don't want to interrupt while he's in the throes
Yeah,
of
and
battle.
here's just Dakra Mystic for value.
And here's an interesting choice. There's a Lightning Strike on top for Fabrizio, but there's also a Raise the Alarm for Gary, so he's got to decide if he wants Fabrizio to have a Lightning Strike if he gets the raise, and he does. They both draw it. Dakra Mystic, one of the more interesting cards printed of late. It's got it creates this really cool decision points all the time. Sometimes it's very easy, but
Stoke the Flames.
Stoke to take down Brimaz. And Gary's going to ship the turn back. So Fabrizio playing very well over the course of the last season. 3 GP top 8s. He's also going to be your national champion from England, even though that's not where he's originally from. He's Venezuelan by birth. He lives there now, though. So he's going to be representing England at the World Magic Cup in, what, a month and a half? Is it less than that?
Coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Terry definitely has a more sort of controlling, blow stuff up version of the Jeskai deck. But he's still got Mantis Rider. That thing still flies over for 3 every turn.
All right, so I see a Lightning Strike in hand for Gary Wong, pretty much exactly what you want to be doing against a Mantis Rider. But he's also thinking about other plans here potentially. He's going to strike that thing down. What else you got, Gary? Curious to see how he uses the Dakra Mystic. Is it the type of thing where you just activate it every single turn? Like every single turn that you can, do you just dig for value, for pieces of the combo? Like, how does this actually play out? Is he going to start attacking with it at some point? Like, what is Gary's game plan here?
I mean, probably, I think it's going to depend. I think a lot of it is going to be situational. This seems like the kind of deck that, depending on the matchup and depending on the hand that you draw, you can play it as a tokens deck that's just attacking. You can play it as a combo deck.
Those are my favorite kind of decks, actually, the ones that are a
Springleaf Drum.
So he's the ones that can just back into an Oops, I Win combo, but also have a solid game plan. I do like decks like that.
So Springleaf Drum with Retraction Helix, I believe it loops, right? I think it loops and makes mana. If you Retraction Helix your guy, you tap it to bounce the Springleaf Drum, you replay the Springleaf Drum, untapping your guy, think if you need another creature in play to be making the mana off the Springleaf Drum, but
And you need Ascendancy, of course.
of course, if you have
Yes.
Jeskai's Ascendancy in play, you have multiple creatures in play, and you've targeted one of them with Retraction Helix, then you can loop with Springleaf Drum the same way that the pure combo decks will use Sylvan Caryatid and another mana creature. He's building his own combo.
All right, he's going to just use the Springleaf Drum the good old-fashioned way here
Yeah.
to flash in that Razy Alarm that he had drawn off of the Dakra Mystic. So building up a bit of a board state, though. Now his opponent, Fabrizio, has another Brimaz to replace the one that was there before. So this could get interesting.
Yeah.
Show us what you got, Gary. Well, another Razy Alarm on top, and it's a land for Terry, and it looks like Wong's like, yeah, sure, have a
Sure,
land.
you can have a land. I'll take this Raise the Alarm.
Sometimes those decisions are easy.
I mean, just imagine if Gary just had Jeskai Ascendancy in play, right?
Yes.
The ability to raise the alarm triggers it, makes all the tokens better. All those token-making cards trigger the Ascendancy and fuel future triggers of the Ascendancy.
Absolutely.
And I think the incentive for him to go with this direction with the deck rather than the combo deck we saw more of at the Pro Tour is that he doesn't have to play green mana. Like he gets to be a 3-color deck instead of being a 4-color deck.
Ah, you're right.
Right, the CFB list that LSV played at the Pro Tour is 4 colors, and I mean that's part of where its fragility comes from.
Yeah, we did a masterclass deck tech with Luis on that deck yesterday, and it's hilarious when you lay it out because they're all blue and green cards, and then there's Jeskai Ascendancy, just like, hey, what's up, guys?
Right.
Can I play too? And they're like, come on
Bad
in.
play,
And
yeah.
every bit of mana is bent around that card. Luis said if Jeskai Ascendancy was one of the green clans, you know, not just green or blue, but just one of the green clans, he said it would have been a completely different ballgame as far as actually getting that thing into play. And probably too good.
Wow.
Really?
Lightning Strike on 1 token? Oh, this is a Brimaz combat, so this saves the Brimaz?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. All
Yeah.
right, so here's Retraction
Quadruple
Helix.
Brock Brimaz,
Yeah.
Lightning Strike to take out your token.
Ooh, second Lightning Strike to 2-for-1 though on the Retraction Helix as well, and that is going to wipe the board and even get in for a damage here for Fabrizio. So Gary Wong decided to take the risk on playing around, on playing into the second Lightning Strike, but it didn't pan out well for him because Fabrizio actually had it. Brutal. And activate Dakra Mystic.
Main phase very quickly. Gary Wong wants more cards,
Yep, start milling you.
but well, he's digging his own deck is what he's doing.
Absolutely.
He's just getting the land off of his own deck. Yeah, suddenly that board full of tokens has just crumbled apart. I don't mind Gary's play there.
I don't either.
I mean, he was like, okay, if you've got 1 Lightning Strike and you're willing to kill one of my tokens with it, then I can counter with the Retraction Helix. Doesn't seem terrible to open up that window. But yeah, he did get blown out by 2 tricks. I don't know. Jeskai's got a lot of tricks in it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if every burn spell counts as a trick, there's a ton of tricks in the deck.
Now Gary Wong, though, has to start really paying attention to his own life total because he's going to take big chunks of damage, and Fabrizio can have any number of burn spells to really shore that up quickly. And right now, Gary Wong has not a whole heck of a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually going to do it.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so Gary Wong, you know, he did some things.
Well,
None of them seem super powerful.
You know, we talked about how he shored up one of the fragilities of the Jeskai combo deck by not having to play green mana. He still has to draw an Ascendancy.
Yes, he does.
And he did not draw an Ascendancy there.
All right, so we'll see. And he dug. He certainly was trying to find it. Let's take a look at Alex Sittner versus Eric Cabanero.
Yeah, now, these guys are a little deeper in the standings, but Eric Cabanero, we wanted to get him on camera because his deck has both Crackling Doom and Dig Through Time.
Wow.
He is 4-color control.
I was wondering if we would see 4 colors. Interesting. You know, the
Yeah, and I
general
told you we
thinking
wouldn't,
is,
I think.
You did, but I mean, I think your reasoning was sound, is that there's not a huge incentive to go into anything more than 3 right now, but
Yeah, the 3-color cards are such huge. I mean, you just get so much that we.
Yeah.
I think what it is though is if you like one of the clans that's not blue, then but you like Dig Through Time, then you wind up with a 4-color list.
All right. Well, this is interesting. I like this. There's a Nyx Fleece Ram on the battlefield as well. We are in game 2 though, so this is a post-board game. Now, is Alex on just straight up Temur here? It looks like it. Looks like he's on a deck similar to what Brian Kibler's playing, except for, no, he's not. Is that a Temur Ascendancy up there, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so he's going a different direction here. The full Temur.
Did we get deck lists for these guys, or did we only
Let's
get
see,
the
I think
hero
there might
table?
be right here. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yep. So Eric's on 23 life right now, thanks to that ram, and Alex is on 9? Is that possible? I don't know what Alex took 11 damage from. I guess maybe his own his own
lands.
mana confluence.
Yeah, he is. 2 Temur Ascendancy in the main,
it's
another
gotta
one on the
be.
sideboard.
He certainly doesn't seem concerned with his own life total. So.
Sure.
All right, there's dig through time. Ooh, Disdainful Stroke though takes it down, and I think that Eric's going to take a huge hit here. He was at over
God.
20. What are you looking at?
So I love the 4 main deck Stubborn Denials, because that seems like one of the reasons to go Temur, is that you just get this 1 mana negate in your deck.
Ooh, by the way, he could have used one right there.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. But you know what else he plays? To create 4/4 creatures? One of your favorite cards from last year. Hour of Need.
Really?
Yes, sir. There's 2 copies of Hour of Need. That's the Strive card that exiles creatures and turns them into 4/4 Sphinx tokens.
Oh, I first picked that thing and limited all the time.
I know.
Wow. That's impressive.
Oh, by the way, Ash Cloud Phoenix is also a 4-power creature. Yeah, he is.
So those Hour of Needs all trigger the Ascendancy as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reload.
Yeah, this is not just like Brian Kibler saying, I want to play with Savage Knuckleblade, I guess I'm Temur. This is Alex Sittner embracing the clan.
He is full
I am
on.
an Ascendant Temur clan member. All 4-power guys. Yeah, Knuckleblade, Ash Cloud, Pelucranos, Storm Breath, couple of Hour of Needs. 4 Stubborn Denials. This deck's awesome.
How many
He's even got a
Ascendancies?
Sagu Mauler.
Really?
Yeah, just one,
Kibler
but
played one of those at the Pro Tour.
It mixes up the morph too, right?
Yes, it
You're
does.
like, is that a Rattleclaw Mystic? Is it an Ash Cloud Phoenix?
Yeah.
No, Sagu Mauler.
Your removal is no good here. How many Ascendancies is he playing?
2 in the main, 1 on the board.
Okay, I like that. That's really cool. Storm Breath Dragon triggers it as well. Gets double haste. Not really.
Yeah, I'm not sure double haste is a thing.
You don't really want double haste.
You might be able to make Flample happen, though I'm skeptical. I don't think you can make double haste happen.
All right, I'll take my battles there. And Pelucranos, guess what? That triggers the Ascendancy and also has haste, although not
Triggers
in
the
this
control
case.
player's dissolve.
Yes. Wow, this deck is sweet. I admire your commitment, Alex Sittner.
Yeah, that's awesome. The bad news? These guys have 3 losses already.
Oh, that is bad news.
Yeah, Alex is looking at top 16. He's not going to make top 8 with 3 losses. I mean, we're under 2,000 players, so, X21 might make top 8, maybe, but not X3.
What the heck do we call those 4 colors together?
He's Mardu splashing dig through time? I don't know.
Okay.
Mardu dig? Mardig?
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 Mardig control?
It's pretty good for 4 seconds of work.
Yeah, it is. What's his win condition?
He has a Pearl Lake Ancient and some Elspeths.
Wow.
3 Elspeths and a Pearl Lake. His mana is sketchy. It's double white, double blue, double red. It's not double black. Or wait, it must be double black. Surely there's... He's got all 4 colors, but he's not going to play Hero's Downfall? Well, he's not going to survive Temur Ascendancy either.
No.
He does have an Orborg.
All right.
That was awesome.
That was sweet.
I'm glad we got to see those decks.
I am too. Now I want to see a little more of what Gary Wong's up to. Like, I totally respect Fabrizio and Terry bringing the the Ascendancy or the Jeskai list here and beating down, but I do want to see what Gary Wong's up to. I mean, look, he's 9-1 right now.
I know. I don't think many of his opponents have known what's coming. It seems like the kind of deck you can just blindside people with in Grand Prix. Is that 6 cards? I think that was 6 cards for Gary.
Turn 1 Springleaf Drum for Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah, that must have been 6 because he's got a 1-lander here. But you got to figure he's 1 land away from raising some alarms or doing something along those lines to get him more mana. In fact, that was a raise the alarm off the top.
Yeah, so the next land actually gets him to 3 thanks to Springleaf. But, oh, by the way, yeah, knock the top of the deck. Ugh. That's too bad.
Yeah, and one thing that, one of the big strengths that I think people tend to overlook about a Jeskai deck like this is that it shuts the door. Like,
oh, yeah.
you stumble like this, and there's some mid-range decks that will let you have a few extra draw steps and maybe fight your way back in. But this one is just going to slam the door on Gary Wong very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, and you can build a control deck in the Jeskai colors. I mean, Fabrizio's deck is actually fairly control-ish in the grand scheme of things, but the awesome part about this Jeskai deck is it does have the ability to beat a beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's situational, matchup dependent, whatever, but when your opponent stumbles on mana, most control decks can't punish you for stumbling on mana.
No, you got a lot of time before they can burn you out in this case, but nope, not this one.
Jeskai can absolutely punish you for any hiccups. And yet it can still win the late game. That's,
yes.
I think why you're seeing so many of the sort of platinum pros that are here choosing to run with Jeskai.
So Fabrizio's just hit his 5th land drop while Gary Wong is sitting idly on just 1.
It's kind of 1.5.
Yeah, it is 1.5, but he also bricked here, so
yeah.
That's going to be game, kids.
Yeah.
As the burn spells are going to start raining in.
9.
And I think
got
Anteri could
6
probably
power.
just kill him next
one
turn.
lightning. He's one burn spell.
Yeah, he just
any
needs a
burn
burn
spell's
spell.
lethal.
He's hitting him for 6 here.
Yep.
That's 3 ball. And show him a
And
lightning
there's lightning
strike. And that's going to do it. So Gary Wong, unfortunately, didn't really get to strut his stuff here in the feature match area, but he is still X&2. He is still live for top 8. He had a great day 1. And we'll keep our eye on what his deck's doing. It's morbid curiosity, Randy. I just want to see this thing go.
Nothing morbid about it. It's just pure, honest curiosity.
Optimistic curiosity.
So that is the match, right? Fabrizio's done. And then looked like Alex Sittner was also winning the match against Eric Cabanero. So I believe we're moving up, moving the table 3 guys up onto camera.
Right, that is the case.
And then meanwhile, the turbo match is still cooking in the background.
Right.
Turbo match is a nice one, by the way. I'm looking forward to that. That is.
What is the turbo match?
So it's the King of the Hill table, but King of the Hill this round is it's the only 2 10-0s.
Ah.
So U.S. national team member Isaac Sears, who we watched knock Kibler out of the King of the Hill seat, playing against Tamada Ryochi. And then the match that we're going to be moving on to camera now is actually table 2 of the tournament. Shady Badran versus Kai Ruan. They're on 28 points and 27 points.
Good.
Is it Shady? Shoddy? Do we know?
I don't know. I just started calling him Badran. I don't want to mispronounce his name on the stream. Like I haven't talked to him before, so I'm not sure.
All right. Badran versus Ruan.
Yeah.
You're going to miss the opportunity to talk about Kai?
To talk about what?
Kai. Ruan has a fairly famous first name in the game. See?
Oh, sure, yeah. There's a Pro Tour player that is Kai BU.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
I've seen him in the standings multiple times.
He always catches my eye.
All right, Ruan is on basically Abzan. He is Siege Rhino, Wingmate, Charm. Yeah, he's on the Planeswalker version. Essentially, this might be exactly Ari Lox's list. I mean, I don't off the top of my head see a difference from Ari Lox's list.
I see one difference there.
Oh, he moved the one Dune Blast into the main deck. That's cute.
Interesting.
Yeah, that kind of a big deal. Doesn't have the Liliana to go get it though. That was Ari Lox's. That's what's his favorite play. Like he loved that one Liliana in the sideboard. He almost ran it main deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I was talking to him about it. he decided that they wanted to be a Johnny's main just because it was a little more consistent, but he loved that one Liliana to just go get. I mean, there were so many one-ups in his sideboard, especially the Dune Blast. And the right matchup, you bring in Liliana, you go get the Dune Blast, just blow them out.
It's shoddy.
Shoddy? Okay.
Confirmed.
Shoddy Badran.
That's a cool name.
He probably has a deck list too.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Yeah, no,
We've got a big pile of deck
I have to
lists.
talk to Luis about leaving the booth a little nicer.
Yeah, well.
Here we go. Also an Abzan list. Also a heavy Planeswalker version of the Abzan list. Yeah.
Looks like Shoddy's up a game here.
Yeah, this is pretty close to a mirror. This is an Abzan mirror. I mean, it's definitely an Abzan mirror. It's not card for card, but it's close. It's like, okay, three wing mates to 2, 2 utter ends to 1, and a Dune Blast. It seems like Ruan, with that main deck Dune Blast, might have an advantage here. But it's just a one of. I mean, he has the best card in the matchup in his main deck.
Right.
Whereas Shoddy has it in the sideboard. Oh, but Shoddy has the Liliana Vest to go with it.
Ah.
So I'm betting.
So he's got 2.
Game 2, yeah, he's effectively got 2 Dune Blasts.
And this is game 2, so. How good is Dune Blast in that scenario? I mean, don't they usually just pick off your creature anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it's at its best against the Devotion lists that can just explode, with Hornet Queens and Genesis Hydras. That's certainly where the card's at its best. But, I mean, I think you won it in this matchup.
I think so, too. Yeah, you fall behind or you kind of set them up.
I mean, if they just, you have to answer their Rhinos and their Wingmate Rocks in particular.
Yes.
I mean, even just being able to answer a Wingmate Rock 1 for 1 and leave your guy in play is decent, right?
Yeah, it is.
So Shoddy got the first game.
He did. Both these players, they actually have different records. It looks like Kai's 9-1 and Shoddy's 9-0-1.
Yeah, it's table 2, so it's 27 points, plays 28 points. Shoddy was basically in third place all by himself.
Now, just real quick, while he's resolving his mulligan to 6 here, what does a 9-0-1 do for him as far as top 8? Like if he were to win his next few matches and put himself in a spot?
So there's 5 rounds left counting this one? He basically needs to go 3-2.
Okay.
Because he's at the top of the standings, his tiebreakers should be pretty solid. I mean, the tiebreakers can be kind of random at day 2 of a big Grand Prix, so it's hard to rely on it, but it does put him in a position where he can essentially lose twice and still make top 8.
Okay.
It's like that ID that many people would take in the last round.
He's
he kind of
just
already took it.
Down payment on that?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're underway here. The normal assortment of lands hitting play, and we've got Sylvan Caryatid, another card that we've grown accustomed to seeing in the feature match area here. It's just one of, if not the best 2-drop in the entire format. I like Shoddy's land choice there with the old beta forest, and it's not too bad. Maybe we can find some more beta forests on top. Well, he's gonna have to settle for a mana confluence off of his Courser.
Settle for. He got to go Caryatid into Courser into free value. Kai hasn't played the spell in 3 turns.
I'm so used to this now. Like, if you would have showed me this and I hadn't seen the cards, I'd be like, oh my god, like that's insane. And now I'm just like, yeah.
I mean, there are more powerful things than you can do. It is it's value, it's incremental advantage, but it's kind of slow. It takes a while to add up to significant advantage. I'm just looking at like what is Kai's draw? Okay, he left up Hero's Downfall is what he did. So he does take advantage of his turn 3. But all he does is blanket Courser and Shoddy's up a card.
I do like where Courser has fallen in the format, where it is in that kind of middle ground.
Good, but not
good, but
breaking.
not just dominating the scene. Yeah, I think that's perfect for it. I mean, it's obviously a great card, and it certainly has changed the way people build their decks.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that it's doing that's not as visible is nobody's playing 1-mana 2/1s. Like, there are no aggro decks because they can't attack through a Courser.
Yeah, that's
like it's doing. People have been able to build decks that can beat Courser decks. You can fly over it. You can attack through it with your Death-Touching Air of the Wilds. But make no mistake, it has a dominant role in sort of bending the metagame around the fact that lots of decks have this sort of valuable 2/4 for 3.
Absolutely.
All right, Shoddy goes for Sorin into a vampire.
Luis keeps calling it a bat.
Yeah, he got me to do that yesterday. My wife texted me. It's like, they're vampires.
Yes, they're definitely vampires.
Apparently, though, there's no natural vampirism on the plane, so Sorin had to like ask directions on how to find
He
fellow
is visiting.
vampires. All right, he's the visitor.
All right, so things looking pretty decent for Shoddy here. But Siege Rhino, really one of the premier cards from Konzatark here, and you can see why. Not only is the big life drain there, but now this thing can pressure Planeswalkers excellently.
All right, now if Shoddy has the good draw, then he's going to get to fly over, and then he's going to get to drop Wingmate Rock. Like, it's shocking how often the vampire from Sorin is the guy that triggers Wingmate Rock. That's definitely part of the reason that Ari was happy to be playing Sorin was the fact that it kind of doesn't have that many attackers, right? With no Fleecemane Lions in the deck, finding somebody that can attack and trigger Wingmate Rock isn't trivial, and it's part of the value of Sorin in that list.
All right, so he's going to plus Sorin.
Sure.
Attack for 3 with lifelink, and...
Is he a good player? No. Not a good player. Good player would have played Wingmate Rock.
Yeah, well, he might have a removal spell here, too, to at least be a decent player.
Nothing wrong with killing a Rhino.
Before you attack, how about
Still
we
rather
take
play a
down
Wingmate Rock there, but...
I don't think you'd get an argument from Shoddy on that point. Yeah, follow up Siege Rhino here, but Shoddy's been able to keep his life total sufficiently high here thanks to Sorin.
Yeah, there's definitely matchups where the
He's
Siege
been
Rhinos...
drained for 6 here.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean,
Just
he's
doesn't
gaining
matter.
life off the Sorin, right?
Right.
In the Jeskai matchup, that Siege Rhino drain can often swing a race.
Yes.
I mean, there are definitely matchups where it's kind of a race scenario and it's all about the Siege Rhinos. Not so much in the mirror. You just, the board gets so clogged up that it's really hard to pressure their life total to the point where you can drain them out, especially with Sorin floating around.
How much worse does Siege Rhino get if the drain is for 2 instead of 3? Is it
I mean,
incrementally worse, or is it like a lot worse?
What are the units we're measuring this worseness in?
Like how
I mean,
often we'd
it's
see it in
worse.
play?
He would still be very, very good.
Okay.
I mean, he'd still be a reason to go play the Abzan colors.
There's a strong argument to say it's the best card in cons currently, right?
Yes.
For standard.
I believe it is.
Would it still be?
I think it would still be in the top 5 or 10. I don't
Okay.
think it would be number 1.
Okay.
Like I would probably have Mantis Rider above it if it only drained for 2. But I think it'd still be top 5.
Look, when I get people that worked/ran R&D in the booth, I'm going to ask intricate, geeky questions about this stuff.
Sure.
All right, a pair of vampires, and it looks like Sorin really did a lot of work there. He gained a bunch of life.
He made 2
some
vampires
and 8 a
gained
card.
3 life, and that was a hero's downfall
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
That's not bad for one card.
That's a lot of work. Now the question for Kai, he's got, the board is approaching stable. Here, remember, he's at 20, so he's got a little bit of time on his hands here to come up with something like we were talking about, like a Wingmate Rock of his own would be great here, right? That would get him right back into stable territory.
Yeah, I know. We talked about the fact that the Siege Rhinos didn't really pressure Shoddy's life total that much. They did defend Kai's.
Yes.
Right, how he'd be feeling a little more nervous if he was on, 13 or 14 facing 4 power worth of flyers. Instead, he's at 20 with a Courser. He's got time.
All right, make that 16 to even things up. And does Shoddy have a big windmill play here to just take over this game? He's got something. He almost played it there. What is it? What do you got, Shoddy? Yeah, that's pretty good. Siege Rhino. I mean, maybe it's not his most powerful spell, but he'll certainly take it here. Attacks nicely into Courser Crewfix and keeps the pressure on Kai. So Kai really does need to come up with something. This is where you want that Doom Blast, right? This is where Doom Blast just...
Yeah, both players have exactly 1 Doom Blast, which is precisely what Ari Lox had in his Pro Tour winning deck.
Now, you said it was Shoddy, though, that has the
Shoddy has a
Liliana
Liliana. Yeah,
to,
Shoddy
to
can tutor it up.
Kai's got the requisite 7 mana. He's got an Abzan Charm in his hand. So if he doesn't have it, he can start digging. He can also just start picking
I
off
was going to
threats
say, is
one
that
by
better
one.
than exiling the Siege Rhino?
I'm not sure.
I think
Let's
he's got to
see.
deal with Siege Rhino.
He
He doesn't
does.
have another answer. I mean, the Courser can't exactly hold off a 4/5 Trampler. Although the Abzan charms the Courser to turn it into a 4/6, then he can block.
He can block.
It's probably not as good as just exiling
No,
it.
just bounces off. Back up to 14 for Kai here. Let's see what his play is for this turn. Maybe an Elspeth. No?
All right,
He's
get rid of
gonna
your
opt
Siege.
out. All right.
Still can't attack.
Yeah, he
through
almost
Caryatid.
attacked, but the Caryatid's
Well, I mean-
like, hey, buddy.
He cleared the real creature, but still a stupid wall sitting there.
Yeah, again, this is where Wingmate Rock would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are basically in a top deck fight at this point.
Yeah, you know. does
Shoddy
he
is
have-
up on board.
Does
so
Kai have a Wingmate Rock in his hand and just wasn't able to cast it that turn because of the tap land?
Oh, is that why he pump faked the attack with Courser?
It might be.
He might have picked up on
There's
it, though.
also an argument for just casting it anyway if you could. But yeah, no, I think he looked at his mana maybe and was like, nope, can't. All right, so 10 and dropping. But again, the question is, what are the follow-up plays? And like here, this is where Courser's fine, but it's not the big punch that Shoddy really wanted.
I mean, what it does do is make sure you don't draw land. Like, it improves the quality of your top decks.
Yeah.
It reveals them, but it also improves their
Ooh,
quality.
There's a Sorin, and there we go. So
Yeah.
this is a telltale sign of the Wingmate
you're
Rock
right.
to come.
Got to attack to trigger the raid. Does so.
Huge here.
Not only blocks the vampires, but also gives him the ability to attack and gain life.
Yeah, there's an Utter End there in hand for Shoddy, so he is going to be able to at least mitigate that. Ooh, miss a World Waker too. So you were just talking about improving the quality of your top decks. Mission accomplished there. Thank you, Courser Crew Fix. I see that Shoddy's got an Oasis game shirt. That's the same store that Alex Sittner.
Oh, yeah?
He owns that store.
Nice.
It's his store, as far as I understand it. Yeah. I got stuck one time in Salt Lake City due to weather, and I went there and drafted.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a nice store. All right, the Rusty cam pops up for a minute. I haven't seen that one in a while. Rusty is he's our cameraman over there. So when we get the hand shots or the third feature table, he's the one who's running that ship over there. We're
That seems to
adding
be
some
working
new
out pretty well this
functionality over
weekend.
there. I really like it. Yeah. Yeah, it gives us more flexibility in the booth to be able to watch more Magic per round.
Can you see a clock from your seat? You're taller than I am.
Round clock?
Yeah.
Nope, can't see it.
There can't be a ton of time left in this round.
It
Like,
does
I'm worried about a
feel
game
like
3 here. I would think they can finish this game, but I don't know. I mean, the odds on mirror can bog down like this.
Absolutely.
And you can see Shoddy's already got one draw.
We
It's
ha-
probably a situation
we
like
had somebody
this.
with 3 draws yesterday, right?
We did have somebody make day 2 with a record of 6-0-3.
Yeah.
It's been talked about as this theoretical possibility for years.
Nick Fong, our scorekeeper, is like, it finally, he like actually texted me.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Elspeth came down and made some tokens, but Utter End sends it away.
Okay. No, but it's a genuine concern.
When you play Abzan, you're opening
Yes.
yourself up to just draws are more likely.
Yes, these are the grindiest. And this is where, the cards like Dune Blast that we were talking about can just clean up the board. And the problem is that you see this really often in a Dune Blast scenario here, where often one player will have some type of creature removal sitting in their hand, but just not feel compelled to use it because the board isn't really going anywhere anyway. And
Right.
then you Dune Blast, keep your Siege Rhino or whatever it is, and they can still kill it, which is fine. It's just it still doesn't get you through that through the stall here. The amount of life gain that you can get out of these decks too. Sorin, Wingmate Rock,
Courser.
and Courser all add up, and there's another one that I'm forgetting too. Oh yeah, Siege Rhino, of course. Buoys your life total through the middle stages so that you don't just get, accidentally ran over from a curve out or whatever.
Feels like Kai can almost start attacking in the air here. I mean, it's 2/2/2 flyers. The vampires are holding off a pair of 3/4 flyers. I mean, I guess he knows. Well, he just went through. He got Shoddy to commit his utter end.
Yes.
So, I mean, Kai could attack if Shoddy double blocks. He can kill one vampire. Lost track. I believe, pretty sure though that Kai still has the utter end that Corsa revealed he was about to draw.
He's going to play Nissa Worldwaker here.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe why he wasn't using his utter end to win a combat fight against a 2/2 because he knew Nissa was coming.
And he's going to untap Forest? Is that what he's doing? Or has he just decided what he wants to actually cast it with? Wow.
Oh, end hostilities.
Well.
We were talking about the sweepers. It's not Dune Blast.
It's not.
But it's just fine, especially with Nissa hanging around, capable of turning lands into 4/4 threats.
Whew. Now we see why they named it that.
The hostilities have ended.
They are done for the moment, though. They will be resumed shortly.
Man, he's had that in his hand forever.
He must have
We've
been
seen
sort
a
of
lot of draws
yeah.
with Corsair in play, and
Wow.
end hostilities was not one of them.
You're right. He must have been really excited to see that Nissa, because Nissa can close out the game very quickly. They need to flip over that Thoughtseize, but he's just going to draw it anyway.
Oh, carries
Oop,
it dies. Yeah.
hiding down
by
there.
the way.
So this is a big turn here, because Kai really would love to untap in Hero's Downfall Nissa. If he doesn't, he's going to start getting pounded by 4/4 Tramplers with, they'll feel like they have haste. And his life total is only 11. It won't take too long. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not really sure. Okay, I think they got things sorted there.
Yeah, Kai has an utter end, though, doesn't he?
Yep, there it goes. And he's
And
got a
Soren.
decent follow-up here play with Soren. It's not exactly the quickest clock, but he's happy to have a Planeswalker up and start making his own vampires. So back in the other direction, the Wingmate Rock we knew about, and looks like Shoddy's on 0 cards in hand, so just going to run it out there.
Yeah, I think he knew he was falling behind on board. Had to pull the trigger on that end hostilities, even though he couldn't quite tempo it with Nissa in order to make. I mean, he would prefer to have made a 4/4 land after combat. Or, I mean, after casting the end hostilities.
Yes.
Didn't have enough mana to pull that off, though.
Shoddy's going to crack Windswept Heath, and Kai's basically forced to use Soren just to make a second vampire because the Wingmate Rock's going to pressure it in such a way that he's not going to really be able to get value out of it anyway.
Yeah, we did that or
6 minutes
chomp
in the
to
round,
defend it.
Randy.
6 minutes in the round.
They have some type of extension, I'm sure, but
Yeah, future matches tend to get started a little later. You got to get the players over there, but I mean you're talking a couple minutes.
I'm
not-
nervous here. Yeah, if this game doesn't end quickly, they're going to be in a tough spot. Now, if it ends quickly in Shoddy's favor, well, it's not really relevant.
Yeah. Also, Shoddy's not exactly incented to have it end quickly.
No, how does that? That's always a tricky spot, right? Like, by the rules, he's not allowed to, intentionally.
Yeah, he
try
can't
to
play
extend
for the
it.
1/0 win, and he's
No.
not. I mean, he's clearly not.
But what you can do, right? Like, he's under no obligation to try to actually kill his opponent, right?
Right.
Like, he can say, "Go."
He can play
if you
not
would like
to
to
lose.
concede, I accept, but otherwise we're going to be using the clock here. He just can't slow down his pace of play to accommodate that. It's a tricky spot that we get in.
Yeah.
The incentives certainly changed down the stretch. They have a 4-minute extension, Randy.
4 minutes, so like 10 minutes left in the
Yeah,
round.
they got probably 9 by now, yeah. Ooh,
Wow.
Nissa Worldwaker. Maybe all of this is going to be a moot point anyway. Make a mana
Yeah,
confluence.
Shoddy can just attack now.
Yeah, he'd be happy to trade off that.
You want to trade me
land
2
for a pair.
vampires?
Yeah. Now here's a big one for Kai.
No?
If he
All
can
right, take
find a
4.
way to kill Wingmate Rock, he can actually get in and kill Nissa this turn. He does still have to face the 4/4 Trampler and figure that out, but okay, Siege Rhino helps a lot against 4/4 Tramplers.
Does a pretty good job of blocking them, yes.
But he doesn't have a way to get at Nissa. No, Nissa's going to keep pumping those things out, and it just goes forever. Remember, that's the plus ability on Nissa, so I should say one of them. The age-old question, am I allowed to use a dice to signify that this is once a creature, even though they're not actually counters that are on it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, my response is, who cares? Just make sure you just know what it is. Okay, more lands here.
Still can't really attack with Wingmate. Doesn't really want to attack like 2 4/4s. It's not worth losing a 4/4 to deal 4 damage. Shoddy just needs to go wide at this point.
He's just going to start making
You know,
4/4 after 4/4.
build up, 3 or 4 lands, and now you can start alpha striking through a Siege Rhino. It's the 3rd Rhino for Kai, and that 9 life is very, very relevant.
Yeah, considering he's at 10. So what is Shoddy thinking about here?
I don't know.
He's got 1 card in his hand. He's
Oh,
that's what he's thinking about. He's got a big one. He's got Elspeth. But it does feel like,
oh, does he
is he
kill the
considering
Rhino?
killing the Rhino and his land and then making another land and battling, basically?
That's what
putting
he's
himself
considering.
back? Yeah.
And looks like that's the line he's chosen.
That's interesting. This does start to get into that territory of like, does he want, is he really trying to shut the door on this game as quickly as possible? And yeah, he is.
This play does seem pretty good for him.
It puts him back in the same spot he
Yeah.
was before the Siege Rhino came, but he's also got Elspeth.
Right. Now, Elspeth can be killed by those 2 vampires.
Yes, but he has to
But
have
then
one
he
of them
just
die in
then
the
the
process.
crackback is lethal. So
Crackback is lethal, and he loses one. Yeah, Kai's
There's
falling
the
behind,
handshake.
and he says, "You got me, man."
Shoddy Badran.
Shoddy Badran takes down, and so he's going to improve to